Andy Johnson, Minnesota State University. We are looking at Learning with the Brain in Mind, Part 1, Engagement. These ideas are taken from the book Teaching with the Brain in Mind by Eric Jensen. I would heartily recommend that book. First of all, educators can influence learning a great deal. Let's define learning. First, from a neurological point of view, learning is creating, developing, and strengthening neural networks. It is making the connections. And according to Jensen, there are 7 critical factors in the learning process. We are looking at engagement here. And the first one is focused attention. Our attention is concentrated. It is absorbed for learning versus being dispersed. We tend to focus on what is biologically relevant. And for a kid, especially middle school and up, what is biologically relevant is finding friends, quenching thirst or hunger, or avoiding dangers, which in school terms is embarrassment, failure, or physical, emotional, or psychological harm. We tend to focus on those things. Paying attention is using the brains, paying with the brain's precious resources. 2, orient, engage, and maintain each appropriate neural network. And here are different neural networks. So, in order to pay attention, we must exclude or suppress internal and external distractors, both internally and things that may distract us externally as well. Paying attention. So, some ways to enhance focused attention are to allow students to choose relevant, meaningful learning topics. What do you want to learn about? Interesting. We do not ask that question enough. Block schedules. Instead of trying to learn in 50-minute segments, creating 2 and 3 hour blocks where subjects are combined and students become engrossed in a project or a subject area over time. I could not write and think in 50 minutes. Most adults can't. But yet we expect students to be able to do that, to go from one stall to the next like cows being milked. It enables us to enter this flow state. Mahai Csikszentmihalyi described that, or peak experience, as Maslow would say, where you become engrossed in learning without regard to time. And can children do that? Yes, of all levels. Look at the things that children, elementary kids, middle school, high school kids become engrossed in, absorbed in. We need to make school more like that. And of course, threat needs to be reduced. No teasing from classmates and bullies, and no threat of failure or embarrassment. Students need time for internal processing of your external input. So for engagement, we have to slow down. More pauses in our input delivery. Often trying to cover more means you cover up more. Our curriculum and research after research states this. We need to teach less things more deeply. So instead of layers of sand, use the metaphor of a carrot with lots of roots. That's what our curriculums should look like. And brevity. We need to cut the length of focused attention time expected or required. For K students, 5 to 8, 8 to 12, this is minutes of direct instruction. So yes, it is okay to lecture to tell, but we should always have spaces, activities, things. Tell a little bit, do a little bit. That is the magic. That is what teaching is essentially. And I have to remind myself this too, as a college professor. 5 to 18 minutes of input and then an activity of some sort. To be engaged, kids, students, adults need compelling, relevant tasks. We should set aside times where students are able to set their learning goal. What is your goal related to blank? And engage in higher cognitive processes versus passive learning. And these are all types of thinking skills, compare and contrast, inductive analysis, etc., etc. These are higher cognitive processes or thinking processes. And we can enhance focused attention by changing or differentiating things so students don't habituate. Different tone of voice, vocal pauses, change of location, has students changed location, change of emotional climate, cliffhangers, change group, surprises, amazing, imagine what will come next, and use activities and active learning. I'm a big believer in cooperative learning, not as a grading mechanism, but as a learning mechanism to get students actively engaged and talking with each other and socializing. 7 critical factors. We looked at engagement. We will look at the next 6 in the videos to come.